Exodus 12:42 through 43 says, "It is a night to be observed for the Lord, having brought them out from the land of Egypt. This night is for the Lord, to be observed by all of the sons of Israel throughout all generations. The Lord said to Moses and Aaron, 'This is the ordinance of the Passover. No foreigner is to eat of it.'" Well, if you're joining us in reading through this 90-day reading plan, today's reading is Exodus 12:33 through 51. I encourage you to read that passage. Well, if we celebrate Christ's resurrection and the freedom that it brings through the Old Testament picture of the Passover, we need to make some very hard decisions when we celebrate communion or the Lord's Supper. The first decision we have to make is who might participate in that remembrance. For the Jews, that person must have been a member of the Jewish nation. He or she had to have a relationship with that community. In the same way, someone needs to have a relationship with God through Christ before they can commemorate his death and resurrection. Secondly, we have to decide to be purposeful. The celebration of Passover was commanded by God in the Old Testament. In the New Testament, the Lord's Supper is also commanded, but in distinction, we are not told how often. We are just told as often as we do this. Thirdly, it should be meaningful. If we eat the wafer and drink the grape juice or wine with no thought of what it means, it simply becomes a very unsatisfying snack. But when we see the significance and when we see the meaning, it should fill us. Finally, it needs to be done in reverence. Our walk with Christ is pictured in this celebration. If we are flippant, unrepentant, and view the celebration as common, we are sinning. Paul tells the Corinthian church that because they were doing what they were doing without reverence, some of them had become sick and others of them had died. We should treat the Lord's Supper or communion in the same way that a Jew would treat Passover. It's a time of reflection. It's a time of remembrance of history, and it is a time of repentance.